Yeah, that should be a really good film. I'm looking forward to that.
Which one was your favorite book?
I liked, I don't know, I liked New Moon because I liked the introduction of all the characters. I really liked the Wolfpack, and I liked the fact that Volturi came in but we're just given enough to be able to kind of understand the power that they have. And again, with the Wolfpack, I think they're really, really cool. And I was excited when I read the book to sort of think of the prospect of how they're going to transfer those wolves from the book to film and see how it looked. So I think New Moon would be the most favorite.
Okay. So when you signed on as Felix, did you know that this is going to be the phenomenon that it is, or was it earlier when it wasn't quite as huge?
Sorry, what was that again?
Oh, sorry. When you signed on as Felix, did you know it was going to be the big phenomenon that it is, or was it not as huge then?
I think, I had an idea of the passion that people had towards these books, and the first movie did so well. I don't think I really knew what it was like until I was in Italy and we got mobbed by fans. And I was like, okay, this is crazy, because no one really knew who I was at the time, in a way. That they had only just released some names, and all of a sudden you're getting mobbed by like hundreds and hundreds of people in Italy from around the world. And I was like, this is strange. I haven't really seen anything like this before, but it was very cool. And then once it was leading up to it and all the hype that you could see on the internet and all throughout, it's in People in Us Weekly all the time, and it's on every sort of entertainment news channel. I was like, okay, this movie is going to be just a little bit large. And then when it came out and did something like 600 million, or I don't know what it's at right now, enough to buy a couple countries, I'm like, okay, this thing's massive, and it's freaking cool.
I think wherever it's mentioned, it causes hysteria. Because I know that there was a huge over in England, and I know that it was massive over in the States. But I think every time it's like mentioned or everything, everyone's always got like this whole, it goes into like this mad like other world. And I know that the fans are really dedicated to the Twilight Saga and to the characters themselves. So have you had any interesting fan experiences while you've been doing like the Hot Topic tours and stuff?
Right. Yeah, it's funny because you've got like the most broad range of fans, from like, little 8-year-old kids who are crying to meet you, which is strange for me. And then you've got like 40-plus-year-old moms who are just as excited. And then you've got people, for me, it was funny because I knew this was going to start coming, and people were looking at me like I'm the bad guy. And they're like, I can't believe you touched Rob Pattinson. I can't believe you beat him up. And then I'm just like, you know what? I'm just doing my job. And that, and then they're like, I like you and you're a nice person, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that you beat up Rob Pattinson. And I'm like, all right, okay.
Do you know what though? Because that, I think, for most of the fans who had read the books beforehand, they didn't expect that fight scene.
I know.
Which was that, I think that might have just threw them for a bit of a loop. But from what we've seen throughout the books, I'm sure there's more, chance for people to start to warm up to the characters of the supposed bad guys.
Yeah.
Because you always, that's one thing I can testify to, you always like a bad guy. No matter what someone says, you always have your favourite bad guy.
Perfect.
That's fair enough. So we had some girls in the chat room asking, how was it to choke and slam Rob Pattinson?
It was fun.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Rob Pattinson, he's a good sport, man. He was, he did quite a bit of it, and we worked on a lot of it, and, we had fun doing it, and he was a good sport. He's all at the beginning saying, no, I can't do this, I'm clumsy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, whatever, let's just try it. Next thing you know, he's getting right into the fight scene. He's like wanting to do more than he was kind of being allowed to, and then at the same time, his stunt double, Simon Burnett, did this huge amount of work also, and you know what? He's just a cool dude. I had fun with him, and he's really down to earth, which is nice.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were also in X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yep.
How was your experience on set?
It was cool because, I mean, when I first got signed on to play the character Colossus, it was really essentially the first thing I'd ever really done. I mean, I did a commercial before that, and so I was on set with, Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman, Ian McKellen, James Marsden, all these actors you've seen in movies, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I do here? What am I doing? And then, you just get to know these people, and they're all really, really cool and chill. And then X3 was even bigger, and I thought X2 was big, and X3 was just massive. And Brett Ratner's running around, blowing everything up, and full of energy, and a really cool dude. And it was nice the second time around because it was kind of comfortable, and I wasn't really as nervous, and it was kind of fun. So, I mean, a great experience and a cool character. I just wish I could have sort of grown the character a little more. But I mean, there were so many different cool characters that I wanted to get out that it was kind of hard to be able to tug of war for screen time in a way.
Yeah, there are a lot of characters in X-Men. That's for sure.
So I'm just happy that I was brought back and I got to have a little bit of fun with the character.
So how were the sets and environments different from Twilight to X-Men?
I mean, the X-Men, it's just they were so big. I mean, the sets were so large, and that everything that was going on was kind of larger than life. And New Moon was a little bit. I mean, it was smaller when it came to that kind of aspect, but on the outside, with the sort of hype around it's bigger. It was weird because it was, they were just totally different kind of movies in a way. So you got these big, just high action with X3, and then these massive sets that are just huge all outside, and you're filming all throughout the night. And then New Moon, we're all pretty much inside, and we're in these smaller kind of more intimate kind of areas. And then all of a sudden we're in Italy. I mean, they're both really, really cool experiences, but very different at the same time.
Yeah. So, out of the roles you've played so far, what has been your favorite?
I don't know. It's always that kind of adage that your next character is always going to be your favorite because it's now the one that you've had a lot more passion put towards because it's the thing that you're working on. But I don't know. I mean, I've played so many cool characters that I can't really say yet. I'm hoping that I have so many more that I get to play that I can actually have more to pick from. But I mean, this character's been really fun playing Felix because it's, the majority of the stuff I've done, I'm mostly kind of the good guy in a way, and it's fun to play the bad guy and really kind of bring up things in human nature that we suppress, which is anger and aggression towards people, but he just doesn't suppress any of that and just enjoys every second of it. And that's kind of a cool thing to have. So he's been fun so far.
Okay, so what would be your dream role if you could pick any role in the world?
I don't know. I've been asked the question, and I'm like, there's so many different things out there. I've always wanted to be in a Bond film. I think the Bond movies, I kind of grew up watching them and just love watching them. That would be fun. I don't know. I mean, there's so much out there. I think it'd be cool to be in like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think those are cool films, some kind of character. But something that I've always been wanting to play, I just can't think of anything. There's so much out there, but there's nothing I haven't really, hit the nail on the head. So that's what I want to play. I don't know yet. I don't know.
Okay.
So, out of everyone, is there anyone you're dying to work with, sort of director-wise, co-star-wise?